Come on, guys. Victory puppies. Come on, victory puppies! Oh, you guys don't like the shootout either, huh?
Dude, can you leave my dogs alone?
They are not dogs, they are victory puppies, so you better hope I don't leave them alone. Hi! Leafs Nation, stand witness for Austin Lucas! Full biblical! Austin Matthews is a Leaf!
Why do I watch hockey stressfully? Mostly. For the first time ever, Leafs win 4-3 over the Vegas Golden Knights in the crapshoot garbage abomination not a sport. Oh, I just love when they stop the non-stop drill that is 3-on-3 overtime for the crapshoot garbage abomination not a sport. You know, with the streak that the Leafs are on, I can't be salty about any win, okay? A win is a win. I got all salty on Twitter calling that a garbage win, and the new hot account Flintor had to retort, if that's a garbage win, call me a raccoon. He has a point. They desperately needed it. Who cares how they looked? Who cares how they gave up a 3-1 lead? They needed this win badly. That being said, now that we're happy about the win, let's look at it a little deeper. Game starts A-okay. The Leafs are on the power play less than 5 minutes in. I can get behind that. Well, on the man advantage, Mitch Marner gets the puck back, throws it to the blue line to Morgan Riley, who might have just been the Leafs' best player in this game. He puts it on. Nifty Nazem Kadri bats it in, his 7th of the season. The Leafs are up 1-0 early. Those are the Leafs I remember. Thank you. Flying early on in the game, using their high-power offense to draw penalties, and then furthermore, capitalizing on them on the power play. Eric Holla puts it on, hits James Neal's skate. It's a tie game 1-1. Those are the Leafs I remember from 45 seconds ago. You cannot blame Freddie for that one, and oh, don't worry, the Freddie blame is coming. If there was anyone to blame for this goal, it might actually be Austin Matthews. The Knights are in the Leaf zone, but it's like a 1-on-4 situation. They got nothing. They don't even get the shot off. Matthews has the puck, and he decides to make a play where he's going to bounce it off the end boards behind the net to Nikita Zaitsev. Now, maybe it was a miscommunication, and Zaitsev wasn't in the position he should have been, and maybe he gets some of the blame, but the Knights are able to get the puck back because he's nowhere near the puck. The Knights put it on. The thing is going well wide of the net, and it just happens to hit James Neal's skate. He didn't even try to have it hit his skate, and it goes in. These are the types of goals that drive you nuts. The goals where you get beat in front of the net because you're weak in front of the net, you can almost be like, all right, that's the team you have. It's these goals. And Mike Babcock has talked about them a lot recently, to his credit. They have the puck. They have an opportunity to get out of their zone clean with very little pressure, and they can't do it. Leads to a scoring chance, leads to a goal. Now, I don't know exactly what happened between Matthews and Zaitsev, but it's an issue that keeps coming up over and over again. It was an issue against the Blues. It's possible it was an errant pass. Everyone has one of those every now and then, but the Leafs have a big communication issue. It was something that, ironically, Ron Hainsey brought up, and he was the guy who was on Neal on that goal. If you are a believer in momentum in hockey, or at very least confidence playing a huge role in the sport, it's no wonder the Leafs have none. How many times this season, especially in the first period, have the Leafs scored a goal only to be scored on immediately after? Or they're down in the second period or something, and the Leafs start to mount a comeback only to have the other team get the goal right back. The game against the Sens, which kind of started this skid, that was a great example. The Leafs, they make it 4-3, Sens 5-3. Can you make it through the first period, Steve? Okay. Matthews just skating into the offensive zone. By the way, this guy was a game time decision heading into the game. Does all the work, loses the puck, JVR. It's okay, he found it. 6th goal of the season, Leafs are back up 2-1. Nylander getting a second assist on that, which is, that one is adorable. That is the ultimate, and I helped assist. But question, how did JVR get out there with Matthews and Nylander? And can we see it more? Question of the game, would you look at putting JVR on the top line with Matthews and Nylander? Now, I know this might sound surprising coming from me because I've touted Hyman being on the first line for a long time. I'm not doing this to punish Hyman. I'm doing this to optimize JVR. Look, Hyman, Matthews, Nylander is easily the Leafs' best line. It just is. But I trust Hyman defensively way more than I trust JVR defensively. And the first goal of this game aside, the Leafs aren't exactly spending a ton of time in their own zone while Matthews, Nylander, and Hyman are on the ice. If that line is all about chugga offense, maybe have JVR out there with them just for a few games, see how it goes. You got JVR, Matthews, Nylander. No one wants to play against that line. You can have Marleau, Kadri, Komarov, but I would put Marleau, Kadri, Brown. Hyman digging out pucks for Bozak and Marner. 4th line of Martin, Moore, and Komarov, which looks an awful lot like a 4th line, and Komarov is still going to get tons of time on the penalty kill, and if you feel that bad, power play. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Can we get out of the first period? You're right. As we enter the final 5 minutes of the third period, Patrick Marleau with an amazing pass to Nazem Kadri. He gets it, Spinorama beats Maxim Legacy or Legacy or however you say his name, and the Leafs are up 3-1. Incredible pass, incredible goal. Marleau looking as good as he ever has. Kadri with his second of the game. That's all good. Legacy. I feel better calling him Legacy, okay? He's Legacy. Oh, did I just feel so bad for him? Like, just so dejected out there. You're always gonna get the people, he's out there earning an NHL paycheck. I don't feel that bad for him. Can you stop like you don't know what I'm talking about? Let me just go on Legacy's cap-friendly pay. Oh, he's got the Exantegu. Okay, so he is Legacy. You can relax. This isn't the typical $5-6 million player who's in a slump and you feel bad for it. For the first 3 years of his career, he made 60 grand playing in the minors. This year, he was supposed to make 80 grand playing in the minors. Played 32 games with the Texas Stars of the American Hockey League last season. Was not good. Finds a job as the AHL backup goalie for an expansion team, and somehow the 3 guys above him get hurt. You just know he was backing up Oscar Dansk like, ha, this is kind of fun. I mean, it's not like he's gonna get hurt. Ah! And if you look at his numbers, the 24-year-old has struggled. Yes, he's on a $600,000 salary at the NHL level, but how long is he going to be at the NHL level? Yes, I'm sure he's happy to be playing in the NHL, but all I know is the Vegas Golden Knights were on a total roll until this situation presented itself, and he's got to feel like he's letting the team down, as you saw after the 3rd goal. He's not letting the team down like hockey demons or something are letting the team down. And then Zach Hyman crashes into him, and he's slow to get up mid-game, and Nazem Kadri falls on him later on, and he's slow to get up. You just know Dylan Ferguson, the WHL player they have sitting on the bench, is like, oh, okay. Greg Millen, who was the color commentator for this game, was a former goalie, and he's looking at this going, are you kidding me? Ferguson wants to play. Playing in the NHL as definitely a WHL player and not an NHL player, I think is kind of like a ride. Canada's Wonderland for the Southern Ontario folk. You go, oh, let's try all the tallest, fastest ones, and then you get there and you're in line, and you are less enthusiastic. Now, I say all that to stick up for Maxim Legace, but also to say this. Leafs! Shoot the puck! 6 shots in the second, 8 in the third. It's their 4th string goalie. Shoot! Now, some of you are going to say, now, Steve, the shots were an even 23-23 heading into overtime. Why are you picking on the Leafs? It was just a low offense game. Absolutely not! They had so many opportunities where they're deaking and they're dangling. Shoot it! There was one play in the 3rd period where they just weakly put it on, but it led to a scoring chance. This team needs something in their attitudes to change if they're going to become champions, because they just don't have that killer instinct yet. If you were Sharks, you would starve to death because you don't smell blood in the water. 4th stringer, shoot until your arms fall off. And when you don't do that, you give them life. 2nd period, the Knights are on a power play. Zaitsev just going for a nice little stroll. Morning! And Riley Smith is able to bang it in an open net. Now it's 3-2. 3rd period, Leafs with a poor line change. Not their first of the game because they also got a too many men on the ice penalty. No matter, it's Derek Engelland with the puck. He's not gonna... Oh my God! Take me to church! Freddie, get off your knees! I know it was a wide open shot, but I don't care who it is. I don't care if they clone Luke Robitaille and he came out of retirement. That shot can't go in! He's got an .895 save percentage on the season. You know what? After a week or two, you think that's gonna come up. Now I'm starting to get concerned. To Freddie's credit, however, after that bad goal, he really did hold the fort for the rest of the 3rd period and in overtime when the Knights had 5 shots. The Leafs checked out of this game. Goodbye. They were gone on the bus. Matthews didn't quite look like himself in the back half of that game, but he still looked pretty good. Where was the rest of that team? Riley, I thought, had a really good night. Marner, I thought, actually had an excellent night, but this team disappeared. They abandoned Freddie. We don't know exactly how long Carey Price has been hurt, but I think he's a great example of what any goalie can accomplish when you give them nothing to work with defensively. Rather, can't accomplish. And after playing the puck early in overtime and almost surrendering a goal to an open net that never would have been forgotten ever, it goes to a shootout. I've never been so thankful for a shootout in my entire life. Mitch Marner comes in, dangles a little bit too much, but whatever. He got the shot off, he scored. See, with the shooting on the goalie, Matthews saw what he was going for, but he's stopped by the 4th string guy. Uh-oh, Marleau coming in, he's stopped by the 4th string guy. Uh-oh. But Freddie, holding the fort, stops all 3 Vegas attempts, and the Leafs crawl out of their own building with a 4-3 shootout victory. Now, this is why I get so frustrated with the Leafs. This is why I was so frustrated after this one, and this is why the Western road trip was so frustrating. Oh, the Leafs played a lot of games in a lot of nights, and they didn't get a lot of rest, and they were really far from home. Oh, like Vegas? Forget Vegas's results recently because they haven't been that good. Forget the fact that they lost this game. They came back from 3-1 down to at least get the point. All game long, they never quit. They worked and worked and worked and worked. That was an exhausting, miserable team to play against. The Leafs were not that team. They were not miserable to play against that whole Western road trip. And in games where they did decide to turn it on, they did it way too late. And I look at their recent victories, and they squeaked out a victory against the enormously injured Ducks, and they squeaked out a victory against the expansion fourth string Knights on home ice. So forgive me if I'm a little concerned. But you know what? Let's talk about this calmly. Let's whisper. They got the win. Did they not? Did they not? When you're losing games the way the Leafs have been losing games lately, just win, baby. 2-6 in their last 8, not good. 3-6 in their last 9, I will take that. 9-7 on the season, sounds much better, doesn't it? This is where you punch back. After an incredibly difficult Western road trip, you beat Vegas on home ice. Doesn't matter how you did it, you beat them. Congrats. Day of rest, then you play Minnesota on home ice. Day of rest, then you play Boston. I think I'm actually going to go to that game. And then the next night, you go to Boston and you play Boston again, but they're going to be just as tired as you because you played them the night before. Followed by 4 days of rest and an opportunity to get revenge over New Jersey on home ice. Oh my God, they have so many practice opportunities. Get all these little things out of your game, thank goodness. A day of rest, play Montreal on the road, that could be good. And then another day of the rest, you get Arizona at home. Oh my goodness, you want to talk about an opportunity to get back on your feet. And at the beginning of all that, you pick up 2 points. I don't care how you did it. I don't care how you looked. Oh my God, salute. Now, should we talk about the fact that Austin Matthews almost missed this game? Didn't quite look himself, but the encouraging thing was right after he left practice early, they asked his teammates and they're like, yeah, no, he seems fine. So was it mature of Matthews to be like, you know what, I don't want to aggravate whatever's bugging me so that I can play in the game today, or would a more mature decision have been, you know what, I'm just not going to play at all? It's very hard to say because we don't know what was bugging him. It couldn't have been that bad, right? Soreness, that's all we got to work with from Babcock. Speaking of which, we did get an answer on the 6th goal against St. Louis. Babcock says that, yeah, he should have challenged it. And the issue was the size of the monitors. MICKEYMOUS, this league where a goalie gets slashed in the brain and the screens are too small to see it. But did you hear Babcock after? Very icy. That won't happen again. Now, I don't want to say what happened to the people responsible. I mean, I have my theories, but one thing about Babcock is you can usually take him at his word, and I don't think this will happen again. Big day coming up. As soon as I upload this LFR, I'm going to go downtown. We're going to record a brand new Panago Pizza Steve Dangle podcast. For the first half, we're going to be talking about the Leafs and also that enormous Matt Duchene, Kyle Turris, and everything the Colorado got trade. Second half of the show, one of our favorite guests, Ken Reed, is going to come on, and he's going to bring his pal and former NHL player Dennis Marouk on, and we're going to talk about their book and also Dennis's goofy life. Crazy stories. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends, and I go back to my question of the game. What is the Leafs lineup that you would make? And I'm going to put an asterisk on it. No, you cannot put Josh Levo or Kasperi Kapanen in there because we know no one is going to get kicked out, okay?